things are going to start getting tense in the wide receiver locker room as training camp is right around the corner, and there are some wide receivers whose roster spots are not yet solidified. So in this video, we're going to break down who those players are and the chances that they have in claiming those final roster spots for the 2025 NFL season. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Texans Digest. I'm one of your newer hosts, Donovan Ricondo. It is great to be here on the channel. And as always, if you are looking to stay up to date on your Texans content, this is the channel for you. And for those of you watching these videos, there are 77.6% of you not yet subscribed. If you want to stay up to date, go ahead, hit that button below, and let's take that number down. I want the number of people subscribed to this channel to go way up. We appreciate you tuning in. Now let's get straight to our video for today. Now we're talking about the wide receiver room. For those of you that do not know yet or just need a bit of a refresher, here's what's been going on in terms of our wide receiver room for the Houston Texans. This offseason, the Texans spent a lot of resources surrounding quarterback CJ Stroud with talent. Houston drafted the Iowa State receiving duo of Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. They also signed veterans Justin Watson and Braxton Berrios to one-year deals and traded for Christian Kirk. Now, I really like the Christian Kirk move. Just quick side note, I think he adds some good values, some good experience to this wide receiver room, which I think is very, very necessary for CJ Stroud to be able to kind of get back some of that mojo that he kind of lost his sophomore year in the NFL. His rookie year, he was absolutely amazing, and he was still great for us last season, but to get him quicker into that groove where we all know he can be, that's why I feel like that Christian Kirk move was a fantastic move by the front office. Now, although the Texans kept 7 receivers on their original 53-man roster in 2024, Xavier Hutchinson's road, one of our receivers in contention to make the Houston's roster in 2025, will be tough. With Nico Collins, Tank Dell, who is currently on the injured reserve list, Christian Kirk, Higgins, and Noel being roster locks, that leaves 1 or 2 spots for 4 receivers to fight for. Now, those receivers are as follows. You have Xavier Hutchinson, you have Watson, Braxton Berrios, John Mechie III. All of those guys are going to be competing for these either spot or spots during training camp. Now, Watson and Berrios are new. We just signed them to one-year deals. They are more experienced as receivers and returners than a guy like Xavier Hutchinson. Also, John Mechie was a higher draft pick a couple of years ago, I think 3 years ago now. So he may be afforded one last chance over Hutchinson in terms of, who is going to be that other guy, right? Of course, you have your guys of Nico Collins and Tank Dale, who's currently on the injured reserve, Christian Kirk. But now we have these guys battling it out. And so I'm going to take you down a little bit of what their stats are like and how they've been performing the past few seasons. First up, we're going to start with Xavier Hutchinson, who really and truly hasn't had, eye-popping numbers during his time on the Houston Texans. He played in 16 games his first 2 seasons with us. Not many receptions, not many yards to that. He hasn't really been targeted too much. Has somewhat been a little bit of an underwhelming grab for the Houston Texans. He still needs to find a way to prove himself to this team, to CJ Stroud, to head coach DeMeco Ryans, to everyone involved, that he is worth what he was, being that Iowa State, a prime Iowa State wide receiver coming out of college. He has not yet scored a receiving touchdown in his NFL career, and so it's now going to be a question: is his future in jeopardy, at least with the Houston Texans? Could they potentially start moving away from the will-be 3-year receiver in the NFL? Now, of course, you have more experienced guys like Braxton Berrios, who has shown some, good insights of his game. He has been playing fairly well for the amount of that he has had. By no means is he a game alterer or game changer or this NFL wide receiving star. He did struggle to play last season, only playing 6 games last year with no receptions, only 4 targets. So he didn't really get much action last NFL season. Before that, he was able to get some receptions in those years as well. Again, very like minimal numbers, but again, we are looking for our fifth, sixth receivers that won't get a lot of playing time, but still fill out the depth chart and provide some backup. With all the injuries that the wide receiver core for the Houston Texans have suffered, especially with a guy like Tank Dell, which is very, very unfortunate. These guys, you got to have guys that are ready to play. And so Braxton Berrios, having done this for a while, provides a little bit of experience that this Houston Texans team absolutely needs, right? We're never going to turn down experience. And a guy like Berrios does offer that as well. Again, we also mentioned that his return numbers are a little bit better than Xavier Hutchinson, who has not really returned the ball very, very much. But you have that as well. Now, turning to Watson. Watson has been so far same boat as Braxton Berrios. Not a lot of touches with the football, not a lot of receptions. Last year, he was able to take in 22 receptions, which is not bad. That's with the Kansas City Chiefs. So he was able to provide, some balance to that offense being where he was in the depth chart. Scored 2 touchdowns last year. And so, there's a lot of upside to signing a guy like Watson, again, with that veteran leadership, with that experience in the NFL. This could just be a more reliable guy than going after and then obtaining, Xavier Hutchinson still, right? Or, or like a John Mechie. You still just want to round out your roster, round out your wide receiver room with a guy like Watson, who has demonstrated that he can be helpful in a team's success in winning football games. And last but not least, and quite frankly, a guy who I am really pulling for, a guy that I am really and truly just hope that he really finds his way in the NFL, and that's John Mechie. John Mechie, coming out of Alabama, was one of the hottest wide receivers in college football. He was absolutely on everybody's radars, and I absolutely I want it to work out so bad. That's just a me personal thing. I guess from him being from Alabama and how good he was in college, I want him to succeed, especially on this Houston Texans team. And he hasn't played too much. He has played in some games in his first 2 seasons with the Houston Texans. 30 targets his rookie year, 37 his second year in the league, and couple hundred yards last year. Not too bad. Again, nothing monumental, but at the same time was able to provide at least some value. And I hope we can turn that up this training camp, this next season. I personally am hoping John Mechie can figure it out on this team, be able to remain healthy and just really be that round out guy for this wide receiver core who can learn under guys like Christian Kirk, or still learn under Nico Collins and stay and maintain and stay with this offense. I do believe he has that ability to elevate his game, right? I feel like he's still trying to find himself as a player. He was able to score a touchdown last year, which I was very happy for him. I'm glad he was able to get that first one in his career, first receiving touchdown. And so John Mechie, in my opinion, is the guy I hope lands and stays on this team. I know when you sign guys like Braxton Berrios and Watson, the experience is very intriguing, but at the same time, when I look at the numbers and I look at this, it's all very comparable, right, to me. And so I feel like John Mechie can really be that guy that can fill out this roster. Now, that is just me personally. Some guys prefer Xavier Hutchinson. All still good, right? Both guys are young talents. Xavier Hutchinson would certainly love to play with some Iowa State brethren on his receiving core. And so it's all going to be very interesting to see all these guys just essentially just battle it out all training camp for maybe what is going to be either 1 or 2 spots left in that wide receiver room. So I want to bring it back to you guys watching this video. Out of these 4 guys, who do you think has the most likely chance of staying on this roster, or 2 guys that you think have the best chances of staying on this roster and playing for the Houston Texans next season. I'm pulled for the young guys, right? I want to still develop these young guys. I still think there is some potential with both Hutchinson and John Mechie. And so hopefully all of that comes about. If not, if Braxton Berrios or Watson does have, Justin Watson have a great training camps and gel really well with CJ Stroud, then by all means, right? You want that. Definitely want that on your team. Anything to make CJ Stroud's life easier, to make DeMeco Ryans' life easier, to make our lives easier as Texans fans, hoping that they win these football games and are able to make the playoffs and push past that wild card round, past that divisional round, and really have at it this year. So let me know in the comments, which of these receivers do you think has the best chance of staying on this roster next season? Now, with that, this has been another episode of Texans Digest. Again, I am new here. Feel free to ask me questions, get to know me in the comments below. I am excited to talk Texans football with all you guys right here on Texans Digest. So, till next time, I'm Donovan Ricondo. Adios.